Today on Growing Through It, the place you come for growing, healing, and motivation, I am joined by a good friend of mine, Mike Stoddart. Mike, thank you for joining me. Mike is a dancer, photographer, and content creator who's always pushing creative boundaries. He's also the host of the Behind the Mic pod, where he dives into people's stories and the lessons that shape their lives. But beyond the art and the mic, Mike's journey is one of true resilience. He's a cancer survivor and a passionate advocate in the fight against the disease. This one's about creativity, strength, and purpose. Let's get into it. Mike, thank you for joining me on Growing Through It, brother.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. It's really good.
Let's go back, man. For the lore, for the people that don't know us, that don't know how far back we go. Give your interpretation and your viewpoint of how we met and how things went down.
You want the real?
What do you remember? Yeah. Talk about what do you remember?
All right. So it was, I think, I want to say the second or third day into college, and you weren't there. I think the first couple of days because you were filming. I didn't know this at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but so it was radio class. This was the first time ever even seen you. It was radio class, and the teacher wasn't there yet, and I'm sitting down and I'm just like, hey, I'm not talking to nobody because I'm just trying to focus, do my thing. And you came in, you put your headphones in, and I can't remember what the song was, but it was the Miley Cyrus song.
Oh, Party in the USA.
Party in the USA, yeah.
Yeah.
You were screaming that song at the top of your lungs, going up and down the hallway. I'm like, okay, first off, where's this confidence coming from? Like, do you know everybody? Because I'm like, this is the second, third day. I've never seen you before. You're coming and singing. I'm looking around. I'm like, okay, nobody's reacting to this. And then after I looked at you, you just honestly, this is my favorite artist ever. I'm like, I'm not talking to this guy. I was like, this guy is too much for me. I can't do this. I'm more just chill. I want to be at the back of the class. And you were just so energetic, loud, and just so outgoing. I was like, that's not me. I can't do it. So then later that class, teacher comes in and we had to do a radio show and they paired us together. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'll help you. I'm like, I'm not going to be good at this. This guy's going to have so much energy. So I'm like, whatever. Okay, let's see what they get us to do. I'm like, okay, you two, you're in the show. And we're like, okay, cool. So they put us in the booth. And then you started telling me you're an actor. And then you were just telling me, I think it was Camp Rock 2.
Yeah, it was Camp Rock 2.
Camp Rock 2. You're like, I just got off the set of camp. I'm like, what? I was like, that's sick. And you're just like, hey, it wasn't much.
Doing
but
background though.
But I know, but that to me, that's just so sick, right? Because I've never been on a show, movie, anything like that, right?
At that point.
Yes, at that point. And so I did some dancing gigs, things like that. But and then that's when I told you that. And then you're like, are you serious? I was like, yeah. And then I think right from there, we kind of clicked. I don't know about you, but I felt at that point, I was like, okay, you know what? We're someone in the same industry. We have respect for each other's crafts. And we just had an understanding hey, you're doing something dope. You're doing something dope. And I think from there, it was just, for me, again, I think that's where the friendship just kind of clicked for us because we had that understanding of each other. Obviously, we weren't hanging out right away, but right from there, it was seeing you in the booth and seeing you singing in the class were two different people. So once I got that, I felt that was the more you in the booth. As much as I know you love being outgoing, talking to you in that booth, I was like, okay, that's Ryan. That is who you are because you were talking about your passion, and I felt it. When you were telling me about it, I was like, okay, this is what he wants to do. And you didn't even tell me that. You just said, hey, I'm an actor. I've done this, I've done that. But how you were describing it to me, I felt it. And I was like, okay, that's the same passion I have for dance.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, yeah, right away, I was like, we're going to click.
Yeah, man. And we definitely clicked, and here we are, however many years. Shoot, how many years has it been?
Has to be around 14.
14-ish? Yeah.
Yeah, because I met you technically before I met my dance crew. Because I was just dancing solo.
Oh,
well, not solo, but
Yeah.
So That was no, because I was doing hip hop elements at the time.
Right. Yes. Yeah. I remember that. Okay.
Eventually, we got picked up by Geek Freaks, and then from there,
Yeah. And everything.
so
Oh my gosh, Geek Freaks! I completely forgot of. I actually forgot about
yeah,
Geek Freaks. And we've done a lot of stuff with Geek Freaks too, bro. I think like
yeah.
as we're talking about, I'm seeing some memories of pictures that I actually have on my phone to this
Oh
day.
gosh,
Like, yeah, I have some classic stuff,
good and bad.
good and bad, man. But dude, it's like it's crazy how the friendship blossomed from like, oh, I'm really gonna like this guy to, oh, this guy's actually dope and he's locked in on what he wants to do. I'm locked in on what I want to do. And even when you were talking to me about what you want to do with dancing, because
Mhm.
I wasn't a dancer, I didn't really know much about the dance industry and entertainment, that side of the entertainment
Of course.
world. So I knew nothing about. I just knew like dancing was a thing. So
Mhm.
the fact that you were so committed and locked in on it, and shout out to you, you brought me to a lot of different events, man. Like I think one of the coolest ones that we ever did was the big boy. I almost said bad boy.
Oh yeah,
The
yeah,
big
yeah,
boy, the
yeah.
big boy one. Talk about that one, man. That one was a really cool one.
Honestly,
What you remember?
that story kind of is gonna it. This goes like way back in terms of how dancers used to get gigs, because we had to just look for gigs online. Like it wasn't social media, wasn't like, oh, you went viral. We want to reach out to you. Like our agency is reaching out or our management, whatever. We would go online, go to, I can't remember the other websites, but one of them was just Kijiji.
Mm-hmm.
And we would literally type up dancers or looking for dancers or whatever. And it would just be like, oh, looking for dancers for a music video, looking for dancers for this event, this. That's how we would get gigs. That's the only way we knew how to get gigs. Um, so we, what was it? So yes, it was this is gonna be so embarrassing, but so I saw a gig and it was like, oh, looking for dancers to promote a show at Dundas Square. I was like, oh, sick, cool, Dundas Square, that sounds cool. So we sent them, I think we sent them some like YouTube videos or something. That's how we would promote ourselves. By you send them a YouTube link. And so we sent them and they're like, oh yeah, you guys are sick. Meet us at Dundas Square and we'll like break down everything for you. Like, okay, sick. We go downtown and there's this massive event going on Dundas Square. Literally took up the whole Dundas Square. Like that actual piece before the Eaton Center,
Mm-hmm.
like all the way up pretty much to the curb. There was something going on. There was booths, activations, probably a bunch of BAs.
Probably.
Stuff was going on at the stage, everything. So we're like, wow, this is a lot bigger than we thought. So we get down, we're looking for the showrunner or the whoever it was that was running it. We find them. They're like, hey, we're the dancers. They're like, oh, okay, cool. Like you're with the other ones. We're like, sure, yeah, sounds good. We didn't know there's other dancers. We're like, yeah, cool, sounds good. Brings us to they had like this like dance floor made up for the dancers. We're like, wow, this is like legit. Okay, cool. So we see the other dancers and we knew the dancers. I'm not gonna say them because it's so embarrassing what happened. So we saw the dancers, we're like, yo, we're dancing with these guys. We're like, what the heck? Okay, cool. Dude, but like they were just known in the community. And I'm pretty sure they still are. But they were there and they're just like, oh yo, what's up? What's up? Cool, cool, boom, boom. So you're dancing with us. We're like, yeah, I guess so. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, we have a routine. And then we looked at it, we're like, okay, cool. And they're just like, yeah, so if you guys just want to come in and freestyle after, we're like, oh yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. So they do their thing, killed it, obviously. And then we come in, freestyle, do our thing, and they're like, oh, that was dope. We'll just keep doing that then. Like, yeah, sounds good. The showrunner comes back and they're like, oh yeah, you guys get NFL jerseys as well. We're like, what the heck? Like these were like legit NFL like
Mm-hmm.
couple $100 jerseys, and they just gave us
Official
like
ones, yeah.
we're like, okay, sick. They're like, yeah, it's part of the uniform. I'm like, sick. Wearing them. We did another like piece with the dance crew, and then the showrunner comes back in and we're like, hey, can we talk to you two guys for a second? Like, yeah, of course. And they looked at and they came to us and like, hey, we're gonna need those jerseys back. We're like, okay, cool. What's up? They're like, yeah, who did you say you were in contact with? And we said the names. Like, yeah, we don't know those people. We're like, okay, like, I don't know what I'm like, all right, I'm like, I'll show you the messages. I think it was like an email or a Kijiji, whatever we were in contact with. I'm like, showing like, yeah, I don't think that's us. I'm like, okay. And they're like, yeah, sorry. So if you could just hand us those jerseys back. I'm like,
Damn, free swag isn't
so I
free.
gave the dome, but it wasn't even this free swag at the point. It was the fact that we did that and we told the dance crew like, oh yeah, we're supposed to be with you. This is, and now we have to leave. And then as we're taking off the jerseys, we hand it back. We come back, go to grab our bags by the dance crew. Like, oh, where you guys going? Oh, they just have a section at another area of the event just to like spread us out, you know. Like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so we'll see you later. I'm like, yeah, of course. We're leaving. Like, we are never walking back in that area again. Oh my god, that was so embarrassing. So we get out of the event and we're like, where are we supposed to go? It's like, is this event not even real? So I think I had the number as well. So I called her. I'm like, hey, so and so. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, we're at the event. They're like, oh no, we're right in front of. I think it's what's that one? I think it was H&M. That's like right at the edge of the Eaton Center.
On the
Like
south
right,
side?
yeah, like where Dundas Square is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, we're just right in front of H&M. So we're like, okay. We cross the street. We see like 3 people standing there handing out flyers with like a little speaker. And we're like, yeah, cool. Hey,
Yeah.
what's going on? And then so then they're just like, oh, hey, how's it going? So what we're gonna get you to do is you guys just, freestyle dance in front of us and hand out some flyers. We're like, okay, cool. Do we get a jersey or anything?
Damn.
And so then pretty much they were promoting the Big Boy concert.
Okay.
And while we were dancing, they're like, oh, you guys are so sick. You guys are great at dancing. And we're like, oh, appreciate it. And then I just came up with the idea. And I was like, I feel like we should ask them if we can open for this concert. Because I'm like, they're not paying us. So I'm like, this could be like a nice little like thank you to like, what we helped do for them today.
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? Screw it. What's the word? They say no. Cool. So I went up to her after. I'm like, hey, like we've worked on a bunch of routines. I know we were just doing freestyle here, but we have routines we could do. We would love to open up for your event. And they're like, really? Like, yeah, no, that would be amazing. I'm like, what? Like, yeah, of course. That would be so sick. I'm like, okay, cool, sick. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Yeah, amazing. And as soon as we left, I'm like, we need to make a routine. Because we actually didn't have routines. So I was
Yeah,
like,
because you guys were basically just like freestyling.
yeah,
Yeah.
we
that was
always
your
did
whole-
freestyle,
yeah.
and we would only come up with a routine if we had like a specific event, wedding, showcase, music video, whatever.
Mhm.
So I think we had like maybe a week to put something together.
Mhm.
We had countless nights of just staying up till like 3-ish, 4 in the morning, putting some form of routine together that we've never done before. And then partway through, that's when I asked you, I was like, yo, do you want to come with us? Do you want to, do our intro, maybe a little film a couple of things for us here and there. And we had no idea how that event was going to go, obviously.
Yeah.
Getting drunk
Yep.
backstage before the show. Before the show.
We were young, man.
Oh,
We were young and just
so-
having fun.
That was so bad because I remember you're like, yo, I'm feeling it. I was like, oh my God, that's not good. And then like 10 minutes later, I don't know if it was because you said it, I started thinking about it and I'm like, oh no. Oh no.
He's like, I'm drugged.
Yeah, and I didn't want to say anything to you guys, and I just kept saying to you, I'm like, bro, man, you gotta sober up. And I'm like, crap. And then the hosts, the ones from like Flow 93.5, they had their own green screen, and then they're like, oh, come into our room and have some drinks with us. We're like,
I remember that.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
okay, cool. And then they were pouring us shots. I was like, okay, let's get it together. And then we go out and I'm like, yo, you're gonna introduce us, you're good, right? You're like, yeah, I got it. Still to this day, I remember you came out. And so for the record, our crew was called Hip Hop Elements at the time. And you came on and you were just like, welcome to the stage, the hippiest, hoppiest crew out there. I was like, what did he just say? Like, I was drunk too, but I was like, I knew what you said, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're like that and that's just talking, I'm like, how's our dancing gonna go? I was like, okay. I'm like, and I looked at the crowd, and was government.
This is government,
The
yeah.
main room
That was a big room, packed.
packed, and I was like, okay, I think I sobered up once I saw all the faces staring, and I'm like, and this isn't just like your generic or your regular government crowd, because that was like that main room usually was like EDM and electric, from what I remember. Like the smaller rooms was like the
Usually
dance
hip hop,
hall,
yeah, the
hip
hip hop
hop,
or the
and all
dance
that
hall.
stuff, right?
Yeah.
Because like we went to those ones, but whenever we'd go, we would wait in the other lines because it took us to the smaller
Right.
rooms.
For people that don't know, by the way, Government was a nightclub in the city of Toronto, the golden era of partying.
When it was actually like a thing.
Yeah, and it was a club. It had like 5, 6. It had. I don't even remember how many rooms it had. I actually don't remember.
It was a lot.
But it was massive. It's now torn down. I believe it's a condo / there's a school there in that area.
Okay.
Um,
School.
Yeah, I think it's George Brown College. I think it's one of their
Wow.
campuses, if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken. But yeah, the
Interesting.
Government was a legendary club, and like everybody could go there because there were so many different rooms you could go to the club,
Mhm.
and there would be multiple rooms. You know, if you had a taste for hip hop one night, or if you wanted dance, or if you wanted rock and roll, like there literally was different rooms. So yeah,
And and you would see it too, because like all the lines would wrap around the whole building,
Yeah.
right? So one line, not to be so stereotypical, but you could see what line is the genre of music.
of music, yeah, you really could tell. Like, I know where you're going.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, I'm not going on this line, not going this side. Yep, I think this is the room I'm going to.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that's the cool part about it, is that, like you said, anybody could go to technically Government, and you would find something you would like.
Yeah.
You would just have to know which room, because I don't think inside you could go from room to
No,
room.
you could.
You could?
Yeah, some nights they had the doors
Okay.
open. I remember there was one night we went from the hip hop room. Well, I left. You were dancing. I
Oh.
left the hip hop room, and I had gone into the like EDM room, and I just remember there being
Oh, like the
smoke
big
everywhere.
area.
Yeah, and I was
Oh,
like,
okay.
whoa, what is going on? Yeah. So you
Okay.
could. Some
Okay.
nights you could go from room to room.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that one room that you just said you had went to was massive, and it was packed, because this was Big Boy's from Outkast, his first solo album, leaving Outkast.
Mhm.
So it was like a big deal, and he was going on tour promoting this album. So I'm like, they had let us, like, they had no background on us whatsoever, other than like, I think like one YouTube link of one performance, and then us freestyling on the streets of Toronto for maybe a couple of hours.
Mhm.
That's all they had. And they're like, yeah, of course you can open up for this show. Okay, thanks for trusting us.
Yo, honestly,
Unless we're getting drunk.
what I'm taking from this is like, just take your shot. You don't know
Yeah.
what's gonna happen, because you believed in your abilities and the talents that you were capable of doing it.
Yeah.
And then this person was like, "Yeah, sure." You put the idea out there, and you basically put yourself in a position
Yeah.
that thankfully you brought me along.
Yeah.
We got a green room. They
Yeah.
gave us free food. They gave us
Yeah.
free alcohol. We were hanging with the people from Flow 95. Like, and if you didn't just take the shot, and if you didn't say, "Yeah, we can do this," with confidence and belief in yourself,
Yeah.
never would have happened.
That's
So like the
true.
big takeaway from this, honestly, what I'm getting is shoot your shot, because you
Yeah.
honestly don't know what's gonna happen.
It's, yeah,
You know
no,
what I
it's
mean?
it's true, and a lot of our gigs kind of blossomed from that,
Right.
because, well, that was also a snowball effect. Doing that, which led to other gigs, which then eventually led to Geek Freaks, and then bigger gigs from there and all that. But
Mhm.
which at the end we had brought you to as well. Like, for example, like the MMVA Pepsi pop up, where they had that blow up concert hall.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
We did that with like, who was it? Like Nick Cannon, Creisha Turner, and it was those two DJ guys. I can't remember what their names were.
I don't
They're
know
pretty
the
big now,
details.
but I can't remember their names now. But I think they headlined the second night.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it was just like a pop event. Again, Blossom for all these things. The I Light tours where we literally felt like the Jonas Brothers, like how the kids were reacting to us, wanting us. Kids were asking us to sign their foreheads with permanent marker. Didn't do it. Didn't do it, by the way. Didn't do it. But the fact that they asked for that, they're like, sign my forehead. I'm like, I'll do this piece of paper.
Right.
Take it. And I was like, Matt, but okay, first off, we'd get in so much trouble if we did that. Their parents like, what is MS? It was like, oh, this dancer that came to my school. I was like, no,
It's a guy just signing my forehead,
like,
whatever.
yeah.
But it gave you a taste of what you wanted, what you were like working so hard towards.
Yeah.
And you know, I remember the highlight tours. Those were really dope. Where we were going around and all the kids and the way that they were just so excited and hyped up, and we brought other kids on stage and dance and freestyle battles. Those were good times.
Mhm.
Those were good times, man. And like, you know, shout out to you for kind of showing me that side of the dance world, because I didn't know a single thing about that. It was a lot of fun, man.
No, it was.
Now I remember we also used to go out and party a lot, and I remember there was actually one night we were partying, and I remember you had a bump on your neck,
Oh,
and I was like, "Yo, dude, what is that?" And you were kind of like, like I don't know, whatever. But then, as time went by, you had learned that it was cancerous.
yeah.
So talk about how you had learned that you had, from my research and from what you told me,
Yeah.
it was Burkitt's lymphoma.
Yep.
Which is a very rare type of cancer.
Yeah.
How did you find out, if you want to share that story?
Funny enough, actually, it was on my dad's birthday that I found out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sorry, I didn't. I found out about the lump, so I didn't know what it was at the time. But I, funny enough, just came back from a tour with the Geek Freaks in BC, and what was it? They, oh yeah, my dad had some like work event at the zoo, and then we're like, oh well, we'll go to this work event. You know, it'll be like in celebrate. We'll do this like little celebratory thing for our dad there. All right, cool. So I just got back from tour, and we go to the zoo, and as I'm getting in the car, I like touched my neck, and I'm just like, I felt this like big bump, and it like moves. I was like, oh, that's weird. So I go to my mom once I got out of the car, and I was like, hey, like, can you look at this bump? And she did the same thing, touched it, moved it. She's like, does it hurt? And I was like, no, it doesn't feel any ways. Like, it's just big and firm. And she's just like, oh, that is weird. And I go to my dad, show him the same thing. He asks the same questions. He's like, yeah, that's kind of weird. He's like, it doesn't look right. And they're both like, yeah, maybe you should just go to the doctor on Monday. Because I think it was like a Friday afternoon that we were there. So we wouldn't have been able to get to the doctors then. But I was like, yeah, sounds good. So go to the doctor. And so that was in September of 2013. From September to, I'd say, late-ish December,
Mm-hmm.
I had gone to countless doctors, surgeons, walk-in clinics. Everybody pretty much gave me the same thing, like, oh, it's a benign lymph node, it's an infection, you just might be sick. And they're all like, oh, you know, are you eating? Are you this? I'm like, yes, I'm eating. Like, I feel good. I'm dancing. I'm playing basketball. Like, I'm doing all of these activities. Like, I feel good. I'm fine. They're like, okay, sounds good. So they're like, come back in a month after you take this medication. Sure. The bump would fluctuate, get a little bit bigger, a little bit smaller, never went away. So come January of 2014, still lump. Now I'm starting to notice things. I'm losing weight. And I'm not a big guy, but I'm losing weight. I'm going pale. And I'm not that.
You're not that melanated already.
Yeah. So for somebody to notice that I'm getting pale says a lot. And then I want to say from that time, from January, I was noticing those things. So I went to another surgeon, and he was just like, hey, like, I'm going to do a biopsy of the lump. I was like, okay, cool, sure. Because he's like, yeah, you're not looking good. I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling good now. So he's like, okay, let me check and then wait for the results, and then I'll let you know what it is and our next steps. So I was like, okay, cool, sounds good. Come the end of February ish, early March, I was having a shower, just a regular, you know. I actually no, it was a pretty short shower because I had a meeting to go to. So I jumped in the shower pretty quick, got out, and as I'm walking from bathroom to my bedroom, I passed out.
Yeah.
Hit hardwood floor,
Mm-hmm.
laying flat on the ground. I wake up. I don't know how much time had passed, but I wake up and I'm just hearing faintly, Michael, Michael, Michael. Like, what was that? What was that? And I don't know really who's calling me. And I'm like trying to like regain consciousness. And then I like looked around. I'm like, oh, I'm on the ground. I was like, okay, crap. What just, I've never passed out before in my life. So I was just like, okay, I think I had passed out. So I called my mom. I was just like, yeah, I think I just passed out. She's like, what? Runs upstairs, lifts my head up, puts I think like a pillow or something underneath my head. She's like, are you okay? She's like checking everything, see if I'm bleeding from my head, anything like that. I was like, no, I feel fine. I'm good. She's like, but you just passed out, and I'm pretty sure you just smashed your head onto the hardwood floor. I was like, I mean, like it doesn't hurt. Like I'm good. So she's just like, okay, but maybe you should take it easy. I was like, yeah, I'm late for my meeting, so I'm gonna go, but I'll come back and I'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, I don't think you should go. I was like, it's fine. I'm good. I feel good. I wouldn't leave if I wasn't feeling good. She's like, okay. So I go to the meeting. I'm with everyone. We end up getting food. And I was like, I'm starving. I haven't eaten anything all day. And you know that feeling when like you eat too much and you're just like, oh, I feel gross. Like I shouldn't eat anymore.
Yeah.
I took maybe like a small bite of the burger and I felt like that. And I hadn't eaten anything all day. And it's like 4 or 5 p.m. And I was like, okay, this is weird. And then I took another like really tiny bite and then same feeling, but it got worse. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put, and it was like the junior burgers.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm going to put these in the bag and maybe I'll eat it a little bit later. That feeling never went away. So, okay, that's weird. Come home, few weeks go by, and then I'm like really pale. I have no energy. The food thing is still going off and on like that. And from there, I went back to the surgeon because he's like, oh, I just want to do a checkup with you. And now I come in and I'm really pale. I've lost some weight. I have like my hood over my head because like just any type of light is giving me a headache. And he looks at me, he's like, whoa. He's like, what happened? I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, I don't feel good. He's like, I don't know if it's because of this lump, but he's like, the next time you come in, I think we're just going to cut that lump out of your neck. I'm like, if it's going to get me better at this point now, let's do it. I don't care. Whatever you think is best. So before that appointment, thankfully, I it was like 3 a.m. I woke up with like a piercing headache. Like those ones where like you can't even think straight.
Right. Yeah.
And it's 3 in the morning. I have to walk by the stairs to go downstairs to go to my parents' room.
Okay.
So I wanted to get like pills or something to, fix my headache. I walk past the stairs to go downstairs to get the medicine. I go to my parents' room. I knock on the door, go in, and I was like, and my dad comes up and he's like, what are you doing? Like, what's wrong? I'm just like, I have a piercing. And he's like, I'm like, can you just get me some pills, please? And he's like looking at me confused as in like, why didn't you go downstairs get? Not like in a mad way, just confused. And before I could even let him answer me, I was like, actually, you know what? I'll get it. It's okay. And then apparently my eyes rolled to the back of my head and I passed out again. Thankfully that time my dad caught me, and I wake up, I see my whole family above me, and I was like, I passed out again, didn't I? They're like, yes, you did. Like, you called the ambulance, didn't you? Like, yes. Like, so I'm going to the hospital. Like, yes, you are. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Sounds good. Ambulance comes, brings me to the hospital. They're like, we don't know what's happening. We don't know where all the blood in your body is going, but you're at level, for your red blood cells, you're at a level 50. The
What does that
lowest,
mean?
the lowest you should be at, the very lowest, is 80. But a regular person is like around 150 and up.
So you were below the average person.
Way below. So
Mhm.
but 80 is like the cutoff where like you should not be any lower than 80.
Right.
So I was at 50, and they're like, yeah, we need to get blood in you ASAP. And so they did that. My blood went up maybe like 60-ish, 70. Like, okay, well, we're going to do a little bit more, get you to 80, and then your body should be able to then start producing more to get you back up to 150 and up. It's like, okay, cool. So got up to like 87, and they thought it would have been a lot higher. Like, that's where, but like, okay, at least you're at 87, your body should be good. I leave and still wasn't feeling well. In that appointment, or in that visit, they did a biopsy in my stomach because they're like, we don't know what's happening, but we'll do a biopsy just in case. Cool. So I leave, still not feeling well, go to another hospital in Scarborough now, and they check my blood and they're like, you're at 51. I was like, it's been like 3 days. They're like, what were you at when you left the hospital? I was like, 87. They're like, well, first off, you shouldn't have left at 87. I was like, hey, I'm just doing what they said. And they're like, yeah, but you're not leaving this hospital till we know where this blood is going.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, cool. So now that's the end of March. And so was it March 31st, the last day of the month? I think.
Yeah, I think
30th,
March
31st.
31st. I think there's 31 in March.
Yeah. So whatever the last day of March is, 31st, say, within less than 24 hours, I find out that, so I get the results back from my stomach while I'm waiting in the hospital to figure out where the blood's going,
Right.
that I found out that I have cancer in my stomach. So they were like, they called my dad. They told him, which he left to just go take a call. Didn't know what the call was. I remember that moment so vividly. It's burned into my mind because I've seen my dad cry before that moment 2 times in my life, and both of them were at funerals. So he comes in and sits on the bed, and he just starts crying, and he's looking at me, and I was like, not like over the top crying, but like tears are starting to come down. I'm just like, what's going on? And so he told me, he was like, hey, listen, that was the doctor. They got your results back. I was like, okay, cool. What's up? And he was like, so they told me it is cancer. And right there, like, I'm pretty sure I blacked out, but I was still taking in what was going on.
Yeah, of course. It's the shock, man.
Yeah. And he was just like, right away, before I could even think or reply to him, he's like, we are going to figure this out. Everything is going to be okay. While like he's crying, and I'm like, I don't know what's happening right now. Like I'm thinking this is like a movie. I'm in a movie because I'm like, this isn't real. I'm like, I don't smoke, I don't do drugs, I dance, I play basketball, like I work out. Like, I'm not saying I ate the healthiest all the time, but like I ate pretty healthy. And so I'm like, why is this happening to me? I'm like, I don't do anything to put myself in this kind of position. So, and on the other side of my bed is my mom, and she's just on her phone. She has her head down, she's on her phone. I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, I think she's still just processing. And then I sat up at one point and I saw on her phone, she's already Googling, like, what are the chances of surviving this type of cancer? I was like,
Wow.
I was like, my mom is well, you've met her. She's a very caring and loving person. So I should have known, like, she was looking at something like that, but like, I was just like, oh, that's probably like the worst thing for her to be looking at for herself right now. So within that, after hearing that, within, I don't know, I'd say like half an hour, 40 minutes, the rest of my family is right around my bed. And they live like, this is when we were all like pretty separate, but still in like the same province. But like I had family, and this is during the day too. I had family in Toronto, the ones I lived with, family in Oshawa, Pickering, Whitby, uh, Brooklyn, which is like north of Whitby, and I was in Scarborough, and they all got there so fast. I don't know how. I mean, it felt like it was a very short period of time. I could have just not been in the right headspace, obviously, but they were all there, and then that's when it hit me with what was going on with me. Because I'm like, why is everybody coming to see me like everything's gonna be okay? Like we're good. But when they're all just standing there staring at me, that's when I broke. I just started crying because I'm like, I I don't know what to think now. Because like
Mm-hmm.
if it's that serious that everybody has to come see me, I'm like, maybe I'm not gonna be okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, it was like a nurse comes in. She was like, hey, what's what's something that you guys want to do? And she was just like, hey, listen, like you should figure out your next steps like as soon as possible. Like we can call Princess Mario, we can call these places for you, see if they have room, but they're very popular and hard to get into. So it was like I think it was like 12ish that I found out that I got the news. 2 p.m. we had that talk with the doctor or the nurse. 3 p.m. we were told that one room had just opened up in Princess Margaret, and then 6 p.m. An ambulance was coming to pick me up to ship me to Princess Margaret to live there until I was done my procedure. So, and then from 6 p.m. I get there maybe up to the room by 6:30, all checked in, everything. Doctor comes in, the night doctor comes in at 7 p.m. telling me my procedure that I'm starting the next day at like 8 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting chemo. Like there's no like real like, hey, we're gonna discuss what you have. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. We're gonna like it was just like we're doing your blood work. We're doing this. You're starting chemo tomorrow morning on April Fools.
So like a big joke, huh?
Yeah, honestly, that would have been a terrible joke, but I would have been happy to know that was a joke.
Oh my gosh, man, that is a lot to hear and take in such a short amount of time because like I said, I remember when you had the lump on your neck. I remember we were on the train. I'll never forget it. We were on the train.
Mm,
I was like, dude, have you got that lump looked at? You're like, yeah, like it's like you were so like whatever,
yeah.
nonchalant about it. And then all that time had just been going through, and I hadn't like you and I weren't really in contact as much at that time, just because I had stuff going on. But you were dealing with all that crap that you were going through,
Yeah.
and I didn't find out until after I think you texted me and was like, "Yo, bro."
Yeah, I texted you and Matt.
Yeah. And I was like, wait, I was in shock. I remember I was like, what? No, you're joking, right? And you're like, no, dude, you're strong. Like, and I know sometimes you probably hate hearing that, like, oh man, you must be so strong, but that was your personal cross to bear, bro. And like, you pushed through, and you were telling me that you were dealing with a lot of issues because you had it in your stomach, you had it in your intestines, and you had it in your neck, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
The pain. How did you cope with it? How did you handle what was tough about it from the chemo side, the meds, dealing with the cancer itself? What were some of the struggles?
I mean, because I had stage 4 cancer, which is the highest level, which I didn't even know at the time.
Mm-hmm.
They might have told my parents this, but they never told me, which I get it. It's understandable. You don't want to tell the person going through, like, hey, you have stage 4, and that's, the worst level of cancer you can have.
Yes.
So I get
I'll tell
that.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I get that. So, which I found out a year into remission
Mm-hmm.
is when I found out I had stage 4. But anyway, so they were like, this chemo that you're going to be doing is probably one of the roughest sets of chemo that you can do. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? Like it's pretty much killing you on the inside, from the inside. I was like, okay, what's the difference with what I'm going through now? What chemo's doing to me? I was like, I don't. Where's
Where's
the
the silver
winning?
lining?
Yeah. So I'm just like, okay, great start. But they're like, yeah, like, because pretty much your body needs a full reset.
Mm.
So I'm like, okay, and like that's what the chemo is doing. Like it's killing. Yes, it's going to be killing all of the bad, but it's also going to kill all the good that's there as well. Which is why all your blood levels, your platelets, all of these things that keep your body healthy and running properly. That's why it kills those things too, because they're especially with me having blood cancer, they need to make sure the cancer is gone from everywhere.
Mhm.
So I had a PICC line, which I think I had showed you, but it was like this tube that went through my arm and through my body down into my chest.
Mhm.
And there would just be this like cord that would hang out of my arm, and they would put the needles in that tube, and then it would shoot the chemo through my body so they could spread around. That
Mhm.
was like majority of the procedures with chemo. The other one was I don't know if you know what a lumbar puncture is.
No.
So it's you pretty much you go in the fetal position on well, I would do it on my bed because obviously like I pretty much was bedridden.
Yeah.
So curl up, open so it opens up your spine. Then they put a needle in between the bones in your spine,
Mm-hmm.
so they can then shoot up an epidural, which is what women get for pregnancy.
Yep.
To freeze that area, which was probably the more painful part of the procedure. And then once they freeze it, then they shoot chemo all the way up to my head. So it gets everywhere in my body, right? So that was like a permanent headache for like a week. Like no matter what I was doing, what I took, it was just a headache,
Yeah.
a constant headache. And after a week, it would then start to die down. But that was probably one of the worst parts. But for majority of the time, like I barely was eating anything. I couldn't drink water because it hurt. Like it just any type of liquid. That's why they had an IV drip for me because that was the only way I could get fluids into my body without it hurting. Like I was actually scared to drink water. That's how much it hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And just constant pain everywhere in the body. So I couldn't walk. I could barely even sit up. I had to use the remote bed just to like give myself a little bit of elevation just to like change things up.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously like pretty much all the muscles in my body that I did have were pretty much gone at that point because I wasn't using anything for I think what like 5 months, 5 months straight. But I would, the odd days when I did feel somewhat healthy, I would try and do a walk around, but I would have like some form of like walking device to help me, or somebody would be holding me, and I would use like the IV pole just to like use that as a crutch.
Yeah.
So it was as much as I would love to say you are right about me being strong, and like, hey, everybody has their own thoughts about it, which even what I was going through and how I felt, people could still think I was strong.
Of
But
course. Yeah.
for me, I obviously felt weak because of everything that was going through my body, but I mentally felt weak and destroyed because of everything.
So how did you keep your mindset positive? Because you hear cancer, and I could only imagine the thoughts that were going through your head. But
Yeah.
what were some of the things that you were doing, the practices that you were doing to keep yourself uplifted, to get yourself out of that negative headspace and be like, I'm gonna be good. Let's push through. Let's fight. Let's beat this. Let's win.
Well, this is actually going to get kind of dark, but um, I didn't have a lot of those moments. Um, those moments came from my parents, who were pretty much there every single day. Uh, they were they were pretty much the only people that could actually come all the time because they my body again had nothing pretty much working, so I didn't even have an immune system. So somebody could have came off the subway, they touched a handrail, they come touch me, just whatever, gave me a hug, something like that. Now I have an infection, and then now I have to fight this infection while going through chemo on top of everything. So they're like, yeah, like, so remember beginning of COVID when everybody had like the head to toe gear?
Yeah, I
My
remember.
parents
Yeah.
were dressing like that way before COVID was even a thing.
Full hazmat
Yeah,
suits.
yeah, seriously.
Crazy.
Face masks, the gowns, everything. And they would have to wear that a lot of the time just to come visit me. So they would, and then again, I'd be in quarantine a lot of the time. So the odd times that I got to see some friends, some other family, but again, seeing my mom and dad, my brother and sister, those were the only like positive moments I had in the hospital, because there were never really any days that I was like, oh, I feel good. It would just be, oh, I don't feel as crappy. So a lot of, and this is the dark part, but there were quite a few moments where I was just like, why am I doing this?
Mm.
Why am I pushing so hard to get through this pain when it just feels like there's more pain behind that door? Like, I got through this door, okay, cool, but now I'm dealing with this pain. And then I got through that, okay, now there's this pain. Is there going to be an end? And then I was just like, why am I not feeling better? And because I'm not feeling better all the time or any time in this process, I'm like, yeah, is there a point to this? Like, why am I prolonging the inevitable at this point?
Mm.
Like, why am I having the last part of my life just being in pain? And so, again, thankfully, those moments were happening throughout, but then I would get moments where, again, like my parents would come by. They'd have a funny story to tell me, or, for example, I think I told you this, but a movie that got me through like moments throughout was Secret Life of Walter Mitty, from Ben Stiller. That movie, like, because it was like pretty much him, who is just like somebody who has the same routine every single day. I don't want to say like a boring life, but like he didn't really do much, right?
Mundane.
Yeah.
Mundane is probably a good word to use. Yeah.
And like he had the same thing every single day. Like he would write out his finances in the morning. He would take the same subway or streetcar, whatever, to work, do the same stuff at work, come home, have dinner, go to sleep, rinse, repeat. So then, obviously when the things happen in the movie, he starts breaking out of that routine and he starts enjoying life and just like seeing things that he never would have seen before if he hadn't have broken out his routine and stopped living a life of like what ifs. So that I was just like, you know what? I'm like, I can do this. Like, I can push through this as long as I know there is going to be a finish line for me. Not an end now, but a finish line.
I love that reframing. Beautiful.
So it was a lot of me going off of, I'm not trying to say like this movie was like the one thing that got me through, like, but it was a massive game changer for me to change my mindset. Again, it was still like family and friends that like kept me as positive as I could, but that movie altered my thought process of like how I need to see the end results of going through this treatment. So
I can see
Yeah.
when you were talking about it, you got emotional.
yeah, and I always think about the movie. And whenever I watch that movie, I see myself in the hospital, and then also knowing that the reason why I went to Iceland with some friends was because of that movie, and is because of me being in the hospital as well. So
Look at how far you've come, bro. Like, really proud of you. And thank God you're still here. Thank God you're still alive and you're an advocate now. And your story is going to inspire and touch somebody that's probably dealing with something similar or something close to it. And it's just a reminder. I like that you said it. Not the end, but the finish line of this specific thing that I'm going through. That's so beautiful, man. I'm going to start using that. It's not the end, it's the finish line.
yeah.
And how many years now have you been in remission?
So this will be coming July 28th will be 12 years. Well, sorry. 12 years I will be cancer free.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like 2014 was when I officially July 28th, 2014 was the first day that I was told I was in remission.
Got it. Okay, so you're completely cancer free.
Yeah, I'm completely cancer free. I was in remission for 3 years,
Right.
but I counted those 3 years as of being cancer free because like nothing came back.
Right.
So I consider those last year. So technically, I'm in year 11.
Okay.
But once July 28th, 2014, that will be those are my special
Your
days.
special dates. And do you still have to go and get checked up for it if like it might come back, or like just making sure the health? Like, what's the procedure with that?
So when I was in remission, it was like I think it was like every couple of weeks at the beginning, and then it moved to every month, and then it moved to every 3 months, and then every 6 months, and then once a year, and then now they just suggest that I go just get a bunch of blood work done every year,
Mhm.
just to make sure everything looks good, everything seems normal. So every year I'll go to my doctor, and then I'll just be like, hey, I just kind of want to do my typical yearly checkup, just to make sure everything looks good and healthy. And so yeah, at least once a year that I go back just to make sure.
What a journey from dancing to battling cancer to coming out of it. And now you do photography big time, and you're about to shoot for a pretty big sports team. Can you say what team is yet or no?
Well, it won't be for a specific team. It's for an event.
Okay, got it. It's for an event. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So I'll be covering the Grey Cup in Winnipeg.
Beautiful.
So yeah, it's the reason why I always did photography and I always did film. I was doing film since like grade school.
Hmm.
When I would play basketball and I'd make like my and one mixtapes, which are so embarrassing. I found some DVDs and triple XL shorts and t-shirts, and I was like doing through the legs, ball in the shirt and everything like that. So I'd film those things. I never thought it could be a career. But then obviously, you and I went to school and we took broadcast and film, and then there's like the radio, photography, editing, all these different aspects in the course. So I realized um, I could utilize that stuff for dancing. So then, I got more involved with the media stuff, but still taking dance as priority. And then once I went through cancer and doing all my chemo and being bedridden, I was like, I can't be doing dance for the rest of my life. Not that before I could have, but at least my mindset was like, I could have kept it up for at least quite some time still. So once that happened, I was like, okay, I'm going to do dance still because I obviously still love dance. I want to get back into it. But I need a backup plan because I never had a backup plan with dance. It was just like, hey, I'm just going to go where this thing takes me because like dance has been great for me. The gigs that we were doing, everything like that, like they just kept leveling up. So I was like, okay, I need some form of a backup plan. And then I was like, okay, well, like I'm already doing photography, film, like I'm helping with the social media for our dance crew, all this stuff. I'm like, how can I make money with that now? And then so that's when, I started looking for jobs and, for different companies and seeing like what's available. So I'm like, I feel like I don't even know if you remember this. You might not even been there. But one class we had in college, we had one teacher literally say to us at the beginning, I'll never forget this. They were just like, hey, just, welcome, so happy you're all here. Just to let you guys know, there are no full-time jobs in this industry. I'm like, did anybody hear what he said? Like, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
And I swear, the next week, we had like 4 or 5 people gone from that program. And I was like, why are you saying that? Because I'm like, first off, what he's doing right now, that's a full-time job. So technically, yes, there are full-time jobs. Obviously, I didn't do any research into like other, companies and jobs, things like that. But I was just like, that is a terrible thing to say. So my mindset was after going through chemo, all that, and then thinking of a backup plan about photography and film, like, but wait, there's like not going to be any full-time jobs. I'm like, so how am I going to make this work? And then that's when I came up with like my photography business, MV Images, and I was like, okay, at least I can do freelance. See if I can get gigs on the side while still doing dance. And then things slowly started pushing more over to the photography and film. And then I can't remember, my first job I think was like doing like grad photography at like high schools, which was something. But I was like, okay, this is something I definitely don't want to do for the rest of my life. And I'm like, okay, what do I love to do? Like, I love sports, I love dance, I love entertainment, all of these things. Okay, how can I convert now this media into, you know, something full time? And then that's what led to working with the one basketball league. And then I then was the marketing photographer for Softmock. And then from there, I jumped into New Era. Now I do the media for New Era.
That's dope, man. What a journey. Beautiful, man. Mike, thank you so much for coming on, sharing your story, sharing the journey of dance, battling and winning against cancer, photography. Next time I got to get you on, we got to talk about the photography because you're going to be doing some dope stuff from when you fly out tomorrow.
Yeah.
The time of this recording. It's cold outside, guys. There is snow outside right now. We got snow. But like just looking forward to seeing what you do, man. But I really enjoyed this conversation, and I really enjoy you sharing your insight. And I would love to pick your brain next time on more of the photography. We also gotta get me on your podcast.
Of course.
Have a wonderful thing. Wonderful conversation there.
Yes.
Mike, I like to do this with all my guests. I call these my big 3 questions.
Okay.
These are things that I think about a lot, and I'm gonna pose it to you.
Okay.
Question. This iPad keeps slipping from my lap. Damn.
No cover.
No cover. Raw in the air. Question number 1. If you could have any superpower, what would it be and why?
Any superpower. Honestly, this is now because of the topics we were just talking about. So now that this is now going in my head, I would say the power to heal. Because if I could make sure nobody ever has to go through what I go through in this world, it would bring me so much joy. I know that might sound a little bit selfish, but like, I would love to be able to help as many people as I physically could. So the power of healing would be perfect for me.
I don't think that's selfish. I actually think that's selfless because you would like to put yourself out there to help others. That's very selfless, man.
Okay.
I don't think that's
I'll
selfish
go
at
with
all.
that then. I'll go with that.
Okay, question number 2.
All right.
If you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
I mean, depending on how young we're talking about here.
Let's say 8, 10 years old.
Okay, young. Honestly, first off, would say you're not making it to the NBA, no matter what you think, because that was my dream job then. But no, I would honestly say that like things are going to be okay. You will come up with a plan, because I know a lot of the times, I'm not saying at that time exactly, but me going into elementary school, high school, and like just the very beginning part of college, I don't know if I told you this, but I was bullied a lot. So I never thought I could amount to anything that would matter, whether it was like making my parents proud or, my friends feeling good enough to support me with what I want to do. So I had a lot of self-doubt in that gap. So if I could just warn my younger self before getting into elementary and high school, being like, hey, people are going to say all these things about you. You're going to be good. Things are going to work out. You're going to come up with a plan, and you're going to be happy.
I love that.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
And final question. What is one goal that you would like to accomplish in the next 6 months?
One goal. Honestly, I can start with my I'd say my podcast. Just officially, like, it's technically started, but my podcast that I've been wanting to do, which I've now started behind the mic. Um, I've been wanting to do this for, I'd say, 2 years at least, but I couldn't come up with a solid idea that I was happy with. I would watch all these podcasts and everything like that, and I'd be like, "Oh, I like that aspect. I like that aspect," and I would like try and combine them all together, and it was just like this hot mess of a podcast. I was like, I don't want to do all of that. Like that just seems like so much work. It seems like I'm biting off of people's ideas. I'm like, but like obviously other people use other people's ideas, things like that. But I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Like, I want to just do something that is going to make me feel good, or at least bring me joy doing. So when I go into an episode, I'm not just like, oh crap, I gotta read these Reddit stories, and then, oh, I gotta figure out a new game with this guest, and it's like, no, like I want to go on and just come on here and just have a conversation with somebody and just enjoy doing it, which is how I came up with the idea that I have for my podcast now. So getting it fully up and running and started, and actually posting my episodes for other people to witness, and hopefully it either brings them joy, uh makes them laugh, or at least, even if it's just one joke that makes them laugh. The podcast has done its job, and I know I will be happy knowing that I've made people escape their real world for at least 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like a lot of people do with podcasts. They listen because they want to escape, or they'll watch a movie because they want to escape.
Yeah,
So that's what I'm hoping my podcast will do for others.
I love that. I'm gonna hold you to that, and I hope to be on it very soon.
Yes, of course.
Mike, thank you so much for coming on. Before we get out of here, I need you to shamelessly plug yourself. Boom, right here. Drop all the socials,
All right.
whatever you got going on.
All right. So my Instagram, Mikey DS, and my podcast is Behind the Mic Pod. And if you want to look at my photography, MV Images, and just tune in, and that way you'll be able to see my boy Ryan here on my podcast as well.
Dude, thank you so much for coming in, talking, man. I really appreciate you coming on, growing through it.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Of course, brother, man. Thank you so much. Y'all, thank you for tuning in and listening. I hope this episode was insightful, inspiring, and I hope you feel motivated and remind yourself that it's not the end. It's the finish line that you got to get to. Let's all get to that finish line. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with someone. If you feel like it inspired you, if you feel like it can help someone else, please share. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow me on Spotify, YouTube, all the platforms. And remember, as I always say, it's like my favorite thing to say. I love doing this part at the end of the podcast. The only way to grow through it is to go through it.